I move that the items on the meeting agenda constitute essential business of this committee. Meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans, considering the COVID-19 outbreak and any rule conflicting with Governor's Executive Order 16 and 34, permitting electronic meetings be suspended.
Thank you so much. So if everyone would agree to that, and then just as a roll call really quick, just say yes or no and here when Abigail calls your name.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then the others, Ingrid McIntyre.
I am here and I agree.
Steve Ryder.
Present, agree.
And then the other for present, got Jessica Hope. Yet Bob Freeman. Bill Fristic Warren.
Present, and I agree.
April Calvin.
Present, and I agree.
Thank you.
So I think the next thing we have to do is just go ahead and let anyone know if we have any conflicts of interest. And we'll just sort of go around the circle of folks that are here. I'll go ahead and say I now have 2 conflicts of interest. I think one is that I am to roll off or I'm at the end of my 3 years, and I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, maybe be on the team again. I don't know, but I'm going to run again. I think, I mean, as of right now, yes. And then also a board member of mine is on, is also going to be on the ballot, Randy Morgan. And so just want to make sure that you all know that. Anyone else would, April, do you want to do your conflict of interest?
Yes, thank you. I'm the same as Ingrid in that I am due to, this is my 3rd year, and I will be, hopefully, maybe my name will be on the ballot again. And also Sheila Decker, who is someone with lived experience, was actually in the Salvation Army's program maybe 6 or so years ago.
Does anybody else have any conflicts of interest?
Well, this is Steve here. I have participated in the Room with You program. I also have, for better or worse, relationships with people who've the Nashville Rescue Mission that I'm familiar with. There are no financial sort of ties with that, but there are existing relationships.
Thank you, Steve.
This is Bill. This may be unnecessary. I can't remember if we have Ashley Blum on the slate at this point or not, but she and I are coworkers at Park Center, and if she is on the slate, then I would need to recuse myself from that conversation voting.
I'm really sorry. The neighbor has decided that she's going to start weed eating, and I can't go to the backyard because there's a scary dog. So, Abigail, would you mind reading for us, sort of who we have right now on the list, and just through to make sure that we all are on the same page with everyone, and if we've missed anyone that does need to be on the ballot or does not need to be on the ballot, because we do need to make some adjustments.
Yes, hold on just 1 second. Okay. So Jaha Martin has agreed to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to
And
read
just so
people who have
everyone
agreed.
knows, Jaha is from the VA.
Yes, thank you. Travis Claybrooks from the Rafa Institute has agreed. I'm sorry, I'm reading through these documents. Does anyone, she's got things color coded. Do we know what her color code is? She's got red, green, yellow, and some people aren't highlighted at all.
Yeah. And tell you what those are if you'll go through them. Again,
Okay,
sorry, don't
okay.
have the
Jaha
document.
Martin from the VA.
Yes.
Okay. Pam Carter.
She was a no. I feel like she's a no right now, but she wanted to stay on the list.
Okay. And then Talisha McCreary, never heard back from her from Boca Rehab. Lindsay
Sarati, yeah, she doesn't
from
live in
Alliance
town. And
Sarati.
yep, she can be taken off the list. She doesn't live in town anymore.
Okay. Ashford Hughes.
Ashford is a no since he just got. I asked him and he said, "Can you wait till Friday?" And then of course the news was dropped. So fantastic, but he's off the list. He got a better gig than us. Look, I mean,
Katari Folk. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, what was the one you just
Katari
said?
Folk.
Oh, yeah, you guys, I haven't been able to get in touch with her. She is someone who has experience, and she hangs out a lot with poverty in the arts. I've left a message at poverty in the arts, which I don't expect them to answer me right now, and I haven't heard back from them. In touch with her a few different ways with no success. I mean, Steve, not that you just automatically know everyone with experience, but do you know Katari? She was I think Open Table Nashville housed her several years ago, and then she's been really, really involved with poverty in the arts. I don't know. I just don't know what other way to try to reach out to her. I think it's important. Okay. Let's just keep her on the ballot until we get in touch with her and she just says no.
Okay.
Can I
Travis Claybrooks.
I would just like to intervene on that one just a little bit. You know, I do have a little bit of an issue of putting somebody on a ballot and they're not even knowing they're being put on a ballot.
Well, we're not going to vote for it, Steve. This is not the voting ballot yet. We're in a committee, and I just need to I got to get in touch with her. I don't want to take her off yet just because we can't get in touch with her because of COVID. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, right. But I do think I did send Susie, I don't know if she forwarded it to you, to the group. I texted her last week, and it was regarding the process. And that is that I felt that the way things are being handled here is a little bit problematic, to the extent that it seems to be more like a private club, like the Bellmead Country Club, not a community organization, which we are. I mean, there should be a public notice out there that tells people about the Nashville-Davidson County Continuum of Care, what we do, the activities, and the scope of work, and let them know there's 8 vacancies that are out there for the Planning Council. We're not doing that. There's 670,000 people in this Davidson County, roughly, and we're looking for 8 vacancies, but we're not posting it anywhere. We're just kind of throwing names out there. And this is not what a community organization is about. A community organization goes out there and gives public notice to everybody to let them know, hey, we have some openings. and we want to go out to see if you'd be interested in that. We're doing the things in a different process, something that a private group would do. And that's just not what where we're at. But if you want to do that, I guess that's fine, but I don't want to be a participant in that. I want to open it up
Steve?
to everybody.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Because we're in a kind of a difficult situation right now. Let's be honest, right? It is one thing. And I hear what you're saying. B, one thing, and I want to do things the right way, right? I want to make sure that it's on the up and up. I want to make sure that people know what's going on. We do public notices, obviously, of the meetings. I hear what you're saying about the about folks about public notices. Now there is a time and a public time for people to be nominated from the floor.
That's correct, but that's just from the floor. You don't understand what I'm saying. Just because we have a subscriber list of people and we just put that out there, that's not public notice to people. That's not reaching people. So we're just 6 people here that are throwing names out there. And that's not.
Well, I would
process.
like to say that it's
is
not.
A process.
I know.
It sounds more like an insider's game.
Okay, I hear that from you. I also know that we're the
It wouldn't be that
nominations
hard.
committee.
It wouldn't be that hard to put. We could put a community notice out there. There's plenty of places that you could put it, and you'd have people that would say, "I'm interested in that," and then we could have a process where people would come to the COC. They would make themselves available so that they could go out and talk and say, "This is why I'm interested." This process here, we're voting for people. We don't know who they are. I have no idea who they are. You don't know either. Most of the people in this group
I do know all of them.
So what are we doing?
Okay, I know them. I know most all of them, which I realize is a privilege. But one of the things that is, I guess, frustrating is, if this needs to be in the charter, like a changed way of how we do that, that's fine. But also, it's June 15th, and we're already behind. This is not the day to change the process because we've already started the process, right? And COVID has made us woefully behind, basically. And so I appreciate your words and every single thing that you're saying and the spirit from which it's coming in terms of like equity and balance, et cetera, et cetera. But what I think is right now, today is not that day, but I'm super happy to work with you on moving forward in a better way.
Well,
if
I
we
don't
can
think
come
that
to some
addresses the
decisions
concern.
on what.
Well,
it
you
doesn't
could put
today
out,
because I don't
you
think
could
we
put
can
a
do
community
that.
notice. You could put a community notice out and have it within 3 weeks. And I don't think we're not going to be doing a general meeting anytime soon, anyhow, because we're just not able to do that. It just seems to me, given the extraordinary circumstances, we're doing virtual meetings and everything else, that we could put a public notice out there and just tell people that this is who we are, what we do, and are you interested? That's all it is. It's not that complicated.
Okay, cool. The other thing I just want to address to let you know is that we also have requested from each person who will be on the final ballot. So right now, this is a very draft ballot. But when people are on the final ballot, we've asked for some items from them. We've asked for either a short bio and why they want to be on the COC. And we also asked for a picture, which makes me a little uncomfortable, but in where we are right now in our country, we need to know that we have a diversity of folks, right? And that we're representing our community. So those are 2 things that everyone who is able to vote will have access to, and will have access to prior to the meeting. So if there are questions or whatever, that's something that we can address, and that you can look them up and call them or ask the person who nominated them maybe to introduce to you.
They tend to be government officials or nonprofit people. They're not ordinary people because they can't go out at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, the planning council for HIV, the Brian White, they meet at 4:30 in the afternoon, which some more people can go out and attend.
Okay, well,
So
we can start to talk about some of those things and changes, but we can't do that right now. We're going to move ahead with our nominations, I think. I don't have the capacity right now to change all of those things, and we really need to figure out today if you would like to sit down, I'm more than happy to sit down and talk with you and try to figure out a different way forward. Today, I can't do that.
Yeah, maybe
I'm available.
this is Bill. Maybe a middle path here would be to proceed with the work that we've begun and promised to folks and are accountable for, and then to hold ourselves accountable to one another, reconvene once the process is over for this round, and revisit our process, redesign it, and seek charter amendment if it needs it.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with that, because I really do want you to feel heard, Steve, but we can't, like, this meeting can't take 4 hours today, and we're not all together, and we can't stop the process midstream. So, like, it's a flow of river right now. We gotta.
Even if we had, hypothetically, even if we had 8 vacancies, we'd still have quorum. It's not like we're losing everybody. So to me, I don't see the urgency in that. I think you can have 8 vacancies and you could still meet, and you could put this off till when we do a public notice for everybody, not just subscribers, but a public notice. And I don't see,
Okay,
I don't
we're
see
going to
that
discuss this later. I'm not going to discuss this right now.
fine.
Okay, thank you, Steve, for just like, we just need to stay on the agenda right now. And I do want to those things. I am not trying to shut you down. I think it's just as serious as you do. Okay. I mean, maybe not, because I don't know, whatever, but
Well,
I appreciate the things that you're bringing
if
up.
I could just say this, if we had a public comment period, I would have done this a long time ago. We don't have a public comment period. We have no way of getting information. We had Howard Allen that came to one meeting. He didn't have a chance to talk. Nobody has a chance to talk. If we have a public
Steve,
comment and we put 20 minutes out there, oh yes, I am on this
and
meeting,
I
don't represent the whole COC. I don't represent the whole COC. All I'm saying is, if you went out there and put 20 minutes aside at a COC at a meeting, then my concerns would have been out there a long time ago. I'm not able to address the group, and you know that. So what am I supposed to do?
No, but you could come to this group and we could address the group.
Oh, right. It would be best if we did it and had a public comment. When you were out there, when you weren't on the planning council, you addressed the board, and your group addressed the board, the homelessness commission, numerous times. Now that when you're on this board, now we don't want to hear from the public. Come on, Ingrid, let's be reasonable here. You let the public speak.
I absolutely believe in letting the public speak, Steve, and I'm still part of the public in some of the ways that I speak out in the COC. Still, again, we cannot solve this today, and I really want to get through the nomination. The draft ballot. This does not even mean we haven't even made any sort of decision about voting yet. This is a draft ballot, and we have made a commitment to bring this draft ballot to fruition. We're going to do.
Well, and also,
and again, happy to talk about changes.
Also,
Go ahead, April.
For the sake of time, I'm not sure of how long this WebEx meeting is timed for, but it will shut us down once that time is over. It will just hang us all up. So we should probably stay focused and take note of all of this, and then we can handle it, going forward. But I want this to be as productive as possible so that we don't get cut off.
Yep, for sure. Thank you. So let's continue. Okay, so Kateri Fox, I will keep trying, and if anybody else has any other ways, because I really want her to stay on the ballot. I just think she's a really good representative. Okay, who's next after Kateri?
You have Travis Claybrooks from the Rothaw Institute.
Okay, fantastic. And he has said yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I'll just say it's highlighted in green.
Yeah, he's a go. Green must mean go.
Yeah. Karen Walker from State 2 Generation.
I reached out to she's from the state. I reached out to her supervisor, Commissioner Barnes, because I thought, let's give her the first right of refusal and then go to Karen. And I haven't heard back, so I'll reach out to Karen this week.
Monique Odom from the Parks Department.
She said yes.
Yes, she did.
Good job, April. You're killing it.
Well, I did not reach out to who's that under her? I think Jackie. I can't think of her name.
Jones.
Yeah, Jack
Yeah.
Jones. Yep.
I did not reach out to her just because I didn't want them running against each other. And I thought I'd give the leader of each organization's first right of refusal and then go to the next one. So if you want me to reach out to Jackie Jones as well, then I will.
I think your thing makes good sense, April.
Can you clarify first right of refusal? What are we talking about there?
Well, I'm just saying as far as, let's speak of myself at the Salvation Army. If me or Major Ethan Frizzell, seems like one of us should be on the ballot, not both would be on the ballot. Kind of like Sean Muldoon and John Crenton, only one of them should be on the ballot, not both, because if they're both elected, then we would have another problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Organization.
I just don't think the term using first right of refusal, that's a contract term. We're basically allowing somebody to. That's
just April's Southern words. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Well, I just
Don't
think
take
clarification,
it.
I'm doing two things at once, and I just didn't understand what first right of refusal, because I think
she was just offering
me,
it to
the
the leaders first, because one of the problems we've also had sometimes in the COC, and this does not mean we are trying to get all the head honchos around the table, but sometimes one of the problems that we have, and we saw that on a meeting this week, is that we really wanted somebody to change their mind about something, right? And we were on the Zoom call, but they couldn't change their mind because their boss had already told them, nope, this is what we're saying. And we wanted them to say something different, and they just said, sorry, I can't. No matter what you just said in this meeting, I can't make the difference. I can't change that, my answer right now. And so that person had to vote in a way that, who knows if they felt comfortable or not, who their boss might have said, yeah, sure, that's fine, change your mind, right? And so it's sometimes helpful to have leaders of organizations who have the authority to be able to say, like, oh yeah, I want to change that for the better. I don't know if that's maybe part of where April's coming from too. Okay. Monique.
We have Teresa Smallwood from Vanderbilt.
Yay, Teresa Smallwood said that, didn't she? Yes, next year.
Right. She would like to defer her nomination, but was extremely excited about being a part of this work.
Thank you, Bill, for asking her. That makes me really excited, because it means that she appreciates the work that we're doing, and I think that she really does.
She has.
Yeah. Cool. Who's next?
Shannon Foster.
I don't know who that is.
From the YWCA. It looks like he's a yes.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Sean, I do know who that is. You said is it Sean or how does he say his name?
It's pronounced Sean, like,
Sean.
not how it looks. He's a vice president and the director of the Amend program, working to combat violence against women and girls. And
He's
and
incredible.
very much active in the anti-racism work that the YW has made central to its mission.
Yeah. He's I love him so much. I'm so glad that he said yes. Okay, who's next?
Sarah Bounce from the Harry Vanderbilt Alliance.
Haven't heard anything back from her. It's very unusual, but maybe she's on an international trip or something. I don't know. Benefit of the doubt, but I think
She's on COVID vacation.
Probably take her off for now because, yeah.
Okay. Tariq Smith from the Harry.
I'm sorry, can you say, evidently I can get calls over this call, which is not helpful. So what was that last one you just said?
Tariq Smith, Tarek Smith.
Yes, he said yes.
From the Harry?
Yeah, yep.
He said yes.
Yeah, good job.
And then Nakia
And then-
Reed from MNPD.
I just saw an email that went out requesting her to be on by Paula. So we should hear back from that quickly. I mean, hopefully.
Okay.
But the email was in my box this morning.
And then Alex Smith, and he said yes.
Yeah. There's one
And
other.
then there were other people that were not assigned a contact. We've got Jill, is it Fitchard from Community Oversight Board?
Yes, sorry, I should reach out to her. I can do that. Or Bill, if you want.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't matter who does, but I don't mind doing it at all. I also reached out to Randy Morgan, who was somebody that I had sort of suggested, depending on if we wanted a he's in like city planning and development kind of work like that. I don't think is predatory. He's the one building the villages, or the village, but he said he would be honored to be on the ballot if we wanted him on the ballot, and a bio and a letter from him about why he wants to serve. And that would be, I know we had just talked about having somebody from that community that might be able to help. Did we mention Kay Bowers? I didn't hear Kay's name, and I know that she has agreed as well.
Okay, she's not on this list. And I think this list is, I don't feel like this has everyone that was on the original list, even some who had said yes. So,
Yeah, like Brian Hale, I think, was on that list.
yeah, and I think John Crenson has now said that he would be willing. Before he had asked Sean Muldoon, but now John Crenson is willing because we had asked him originally. So there's some other people that I think should be on this list. So maybe this was just the to-do list from last time and does not include the entire number of folks that had agreed. Let me see if I can go back through and find those.
Does anybody else have, I'm really excited. This week felt really good in terms of like so many people that we really said we thought would serve well on this committee, or on the COC that have said yes. It makes me excited. It makes me feel like people want to be a part of the work that we're doing. And I think that our work is really getting geared up and is moving faster really than it's moved before, which is exciting in some ways. I mean, definitely exciting. Just means that there's an urgency about this work, which there is an urgency about this work, right? And I haven't really felt that before, but I'm starting to feel it, and it feels really good. I don't necessarily think that this meeting needs to be prolonged. Like, we've been meeting pretty regularly in terms of getting this. Do we want to just make sure that we have, can we make the decision that we're going to go ahead and request all the bios and photos from people that have said yes? And then I will commit to putting a hard copy draft ballot together with all of those people that we can send out. You guys can check me on my editings and my whatever, and we can sort of put some faces to names, why they want to be here, what they're doing in the community that makes them a good person to serve on the COC. Because what we don't want to happen, people who aren't energized about this work to get on get on the COC, which would just slow the work down, right? And like that is not what we want.
Ingrid, if I could, all these names that are put out there are not people who belong to the COC. The membership, the general membership is basically, I just don't understand that. We don't even go out there and recognize them.
We don't go out and recognize.
Well, we have members of the COC. We have a room that people that are there, and essentially this group is coming up with names, and the general membership is not really even taken into consideration. I think that's really kind of insulting to the COC general membership. I really do. That's not.
Well, I think that most of
say,
the people that are on the COC are on the membership.
We want, well, I've never
I don't know.
seen
It's fine. I'm willing to have a conversation. Just make sure that what you're saying is real, right, and not just something that you're feeling because it's not going right or something. I don't know. It's like a lot of them people. I hear what you're saying.
We have two bodies. We have the Planning Council and we have the COC general membership, and we're inviting all these people to come and join the Planning Council who've not paid their dues. They're just asked to come and join. They don't know what the scope of work is. They don't know the activities of the COC. But people who come to the general membership meeting have been around. They come there and they're asked to vote for other people that they don't even know. And they're looking around and going like, so it's really bizarre that we don't even go out there and have an invitation to them. Now you're going to go out there and present bios and all this other sort of stuff and give it to them. And then you're saying, oh, at the general meeting, you can kind of put some names out there of somebody, anybody. That's really a deficient process. To me, everybody should know there should be a public notice to everybody, this is what is going on. And we don't do that. That's a problem.
Hey, Steve, one of the things that I heard you say
and
that
the
I
only
really,
reason I'm
really
here
agree.
because
Hey,
you
Steve,
have a quorum today. Yes.
one of the things that I heard you say that is also really, really important to me is, and now I forget because it went for a minute, but was it the people around the planning, on the planning team or planning council, are aware of the situations and what's going on, right? They're aware of
they're not.
the climate.
No. That is
No,
not
I said
true.
that I said that I heard
Dawn
you
Diener
say,
doesn't know anything that goes on about this. She's all new to this. She had no experience with this except dealing with indigent defendants.
Steve,
There's
you're
a lot
not
of people
listening
on
to
that
me.
planning
What I
council
said
that
was,
don't know.
not listening to me. What I said was, I heard you say it is important to you that people on the commission, on the planning team, know what is going on in the community. Is that important to you? Is that important to you?
Yeah, and to know what the COC does.
That's what I thought. And so what we are trying to do is to make sure that the people who are on the planning council, are involved in some way in the work that we are doing as a community. B, they have an idea of what is going on in the community. And C, they can help us get the things that are on our strategic plan accomplished. And so whether you agree that Dawn Diener or whoever knows anything about homelessness, no one is going to have the experience you have about that. And I'm so thankful that your voice is represented. However,
no, but I think there's people
and Dawn, hold on, I'm talking, please.
Oh, go ahead.
I can't do that. However, there are people like Monique, who is the head of parks. How many times have we, like you said, when it was public speaking time, how many times, I've interrupted a park meeting before because we needed to get park people's attention.
You were arrested by the park police? Are you telling me you were arrested by the park police?
No, I said I interrupted a park meeting, a Metro Parks meeting before during Fort Negley because we needed to get their attention. We did not have anyone's attention over there. So I
had Tommy Lynch's attention because I was living there. So to say that they didn't know about it.
I'm telling you, this is why we need somebody from Parks. I cannot have a conversation like this.
Let me tell you, When you went out there, you said that you wanted to go out there and Fort Negley was going to be temporary. I was dealing with Tommy Lynch. We were trying to make a permanent encampment and trying to figure out where we could go. So we were on two different levels there. So what you were doing was one thing, and they didn't know what to do. Tommy Lynch was telling me,
It doesn't matter.
Ingrid's
The
out
point
there
is
doing
that
this, and you're
Monique
telling
was
me
around
this.
the table.
I'm living there. I was
Cool.
living at Fort Negley at the time. I just want
Yeah.
you to know that.
No, Steve.
Hey,
I know
Steve,
that.
I
was
think you and
there.
Ingrid are saying the exact, I know, hey, real quick.
We
I think
are.
Steve and Ingrid are saying the exact same thing. That's why we need Monique Odom from Parks. You know, she was
we
trying to
don't
give
need
you
Monique
Steve.
Odom. No,
Steve,
we don't
Steve.
need Monique Odom. She doesn't bring. She is out there doing recreational opportunities. They do homeless stuff just because they're asked by the mayor to do that, and they've not been willing to do that because park users have complained. That's how come we're going out and we're doing the jail, and that's how come we're doing the fairgrounds.
Steve,
that's how come we're doing that. We've been through that route before.
It's difficult to have a
I can say this
conversation.
about the planning council. The reason the mayor doesn't pay attention is because we didn't have a cold weather plan for all these years. That's how come when I've been talking about the fairgrounds for a long time. We could have gone out there and did that, and that's what they did.
Steve, may I interject, please? This is Bill. If we are committed to criminalizing homelessness in our city, we need people who can help us affect that change, and people who are at parks and who have been public defenders and others within our so-called criminal justice system need to be at the table.
I don't have a problem. They are at the table on other issues. Dawn Diener is still going to work with injured people. And as far as Monique goes, oh, yeah, she's dealing with homeless people all the time because there's homeless people in the parks. That doesn't mean they have to be on the COC Planning Council.
Okay, cool.
So
we're not going to talk about this anymore because this conversation is over about these things. Steve, more than happy to talk about it another time when it's on the agenda. Would love to. What I want to know is, quickly, does anyone have any other nominations that we have not listed that we would want to put on the
Well, I would like to see Jeff Carr. I would like to see Jeff Carr. Jeff Carr actually is a black person, actually housed homeless people for a while. I don't know if he'd want to join the group, but I'll tell you something.
Why don't you ask him, because we know who Jeff Carr is.
Did something and dealt with homeless people one-on-one.
Yeah, we know who Jeff Carr is. So why don't you ask him?
Well, that's the sort of person, somebody who's going out there and has relationships with the homeless community. That's helpful.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I 100% agree with you.
There are people at the COC general meeting. There are people at the COC general meeting that for 40 hours a week deal with homeless people. Okay? And we're not considering those people at the general meeting. We're going out there and asking Monique Odom and some other people who don't deal with homeless issues for 40 hours a week.
That's because we have some people on there, thankfully.
They're on the front lines.
The committees drive the work of the COC, and there are loads of us on committees who aren't on that planning council, and that's just fine. That's a good design, in fact. It's very democratic. It's very yeah.
So what I'm going to do, we have a hard stop.
Well, I don't know about being democratic,
Steve,
because
I don't see
there are people who used to go to the homelessness commission and they don't go anymore. There's Howard Allen and all these other people who used to come. Nobody comes anymore because there's no public comment period.
Okay, we'll address that maybe
what
in
sort
the
of
charter.
input do homeless people have in the council? None. Zero.
That needs not the nominations committee.
You don't need to do no. You can go out there. There's nothing that prevents a public comment period. You don't need that in the charter. You can go out and set aside 20 minutes for people to speak. You don't do that. You don't need that in the charter.
Okay, that's
not everything has to be in a charter. You can go out and do that and just say we want to have a public comment period, 20 minutes, and then the meeting lasts an hour and a half or whatever else.
Okay,
you'll learn more from 20 minutes talking to homeless people at the fairgrounds than you will. Pardon?
I know. I've been to the fairgrounds, but one thing is we have a hard stop.
Yeah, but you're filtering it. We're not hearing from them. It would be good to hear from them, to come and talk to the planning council and say these are our issues and concerns. They don't have a chance to do that. Why?
Hey, Steve,
because we don't allow it.
Paula Foster is the chairperson of the COC. of the planning council, and that is the person who would be the best for you to bring these things to. I'm happy to talk to you about them, but like, I don't have that kind
She
of
doesn't
power,
want to do
right?
it.
Like, that's not.
She doesn't want to
Okay.
do it.
Well, then
So-
maybe you and I can talk, and then Paula and I can talk. But what we need to do now,
Yeah.
we need to say, Steve, April, whoever's on this call, Bill, I didn't mean that. Whoever's on this call, I know who's on this call. So if everyone, and Abigail, if we could just put in the notes, everyone who has a nomination that is on this current draft ballot will get a bio and a picture. And when I say bio, it can be anything from like resume, this is sort of what I do, a few sentences, and like why they would want to serve on this. And if it's somebody that you've already talked to and you kind of know that they verbally, I think it would be for you to write that as well. I could be wrong. If anybody has a disagreement, that's totally fine. Does that sound okay for everyone to sort of ask Jill from COB, and then other than that, and Steve is going to ask Jeff Carr, and then
No, I'm not. No. I'm not. I suggested Jeff Carr, but I have not talked with Jeff Carr. I have no idea whether he'd be interested or not. And frankly, I would like to have, like, here's a public notice. You want to consider this, Jeff? Rather than just me calling him out of the blue and going like, Steve, what are you talking about? And what is this all about? Because that's a professional way to do business, is if you're going out there and inviting somebody, you show them a notice. You show them a community notice. I'm supposed to call up Jeff and say, hey, we got this group here. He doesn't know what the COC is.
Okay.
And then he's going to try to call up some other person and say, what's going on?
Okay, I'm going to ask, I'm so sorry to do this, but this is what WebEx does. I'm going to ask that somebody maybe call the meeting to adjourn. We will have these follow up on. Again, Steve, more than happy to talk about changing actual structures. We just can't change an actual structure in the middle of a committee meeting. So thank you for bringing all the things that you have brought to our attention. Bill and April, thank you for all the work done this week. It's incredible. People responded to you so positively. It gives me such hope. I love it. Abigail, thank you for your work and your help in my woeful unpreparedness. I really appreciate it. And we will, as soon as I get those drafts or the information from everyone, I will send the draft out. Let's say that's by this Friday.
Great.
So if everybody can have everything to me by this Friday, then I will put that together. So hopefully it can go out next Monday. Is we will kind of maybe set a timeline for. And then the last is we are gathering data on exactly how to proceed in terms of voting from other COCs, et cetera. And we'll talk about that soon. Once I feel, I know that's so ambiguous, but like once I feel that we have enough information that we can maybe make a decision whether it just needs to wait or whether there's a way that we might be able to do this virtually.
Sounds like a
This is Steve here. I just wish that we had things rather than 72 hours notice. It'd be nice to have things a little more ahead of time, but that's the way we do business. So.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate all of you. I think this is a very important committee because I think it's important. It's pushing forward in equity and hope, love, awesome, and housing. Let's make sure that stays on the list. Okay, love you guys. Have a good
I love you as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Ingrid.